parents being overprotective is not really nice. First off, because you see that thing you're trying to avoid, before God and man, it would happen right under your nose and you wouldn't know. Like, you wouldn't have clue at all. You should be able to teach your child to, communicate, socialize with the other gender at a very tender age.
You're welcome to another edition of the Relationship Tales series, where we enlighten the public, young people, adults, and everyone who cares to learn about things that borders on relationship, cuts across all dimensions of relationship, ranging from work colleagues, friends, families, nuclear and extended, and even as it has to do with romantic relationships. And so we want to see how we can be able to strike balance in a society that we have found ourselves, so that we can be able to live profitably, leveraging on relationship at every juncture in life. And so here with me again for us to continue where we stopped last time is Golden. You're welcome once again. And I am Prince Wealth, as you know, the author of Relationship Tales, and we are going to be diving headlong. All right. And last time we talked about parenting and a lot of aspects and how it should be done, so that we can be able to have, a smooth relationship between parents and their wards, and also a good transitioning of these young people who aspire to become better than their parents, who want to do better than their parents. And there is a saying that goes that intentions are not just enough. You have to make plans. Right. You have to strategize to make sure that your intentions do not remain intentions, but they materialize into realities. Okay, so that this is what you want and you are living the life. You are seeing the impact. You are seeing it, how it's bringing transformation to your society at large, because the family, being the smallest unit, affects the society. If you want to know how a society looks like, just enter into the family. See how this family upholds their core values, how they've been able to raise their children, stand by it, support them through the ups and downs. Regardless of how much you do for your children, there comes a time where they might stray from what you have taught them. In such times, how should a parent relate with a child? Give you a case study. There's an issue that came up where a young lady had to, she gave birth, she became pregnant, and along the line, she later gave birth, out of wedlock. But when she became pregnant, and the parents said about it, I heard that the parents were Christians. I think they were leaders in one of those churches, They did not welcome this child. They made this child look like she has committed an unforgivable sin in the universe. This drove this girl back to the person that impregnated her, I think in Delta State. While they're in Delta State, one of those nights while they were in the house, this guy all of a sudden started, I think I heard that he started stabbing the lady, like for no just cause. And later the lady was rushed to the hospital and all that. And then the same parent that pushed her away, it was the mom that was with her throughout in the hospital. How should parents respond where they train their child in the way they should go? Because I think it's not just more about discipline. There is a role of prayer, and trusting God. And in a situation whereby they make that mistake, how should you, deal with the situation, knowing that you have invested? I know it can be painful, where you have made a lot of investment in these ones and you are not expecting this. Like, let's call it that the unexpected happened. As a parent, how should they relate? I don't want to say that it happened to you. It's not going to happen to us in Jesus' name. Amen. So how would you expect a parent to respond to that?
Personally, I would say, first of all, nobody is above mistake. There are times in our lives, like, we become so vulnerable, we do things without even having to think it through and the rest of it.
Yeah.
And along the line, we have results that we didn't expect or plan for. Now, as a parent, you shouldn't, yes, the child has already done the mistake. And I'm saying it now from a point of view, both from the girl's parents and the boy's parents.
Yeah.
From a girl parent, she has already done the mistake. She's already pregnant. The least you could do is like be supportive. You don't just throw your, yet you shout at her, you scold her, you'll be so angry. Exactly.
Yeah.
You have the whole mixed feelings. But disowning her or throwing her out of the house, that is too extreme. Because you're even making her more vulnerable to dangers outside. And just like you said now, going back to the person that impregnated her and being stabbed, that is even worse. It's even better you were even in your parents' house. Like, actually, you could have avoided that. All you could have done is, you're angry, scold her, tell her how you feel and the rest of it. But then show her that home is home.
Yeah.
That no matter what happens, you should be able to come back home.
Come back home. I think that's the highlight. No matter what happens,
be able to come home.
Make your home such that you can be able to come back home. That you can beat your chest that regardless of what my ward did, my son or daughter did, she can have that boldness. He can have that boldness. I think that's a take home. Yeah. Continue. Sorry.
Now this for like the girl side. Now from the boy side, the parents of the boy side, sometimes, I don't know, but I would say that there are just times that, a guy just have to deny a girl being pregnant for him.
We're going to touch that.
Because of, you've already, thought about what your parents are going to do to you, what they're going to say, and the rest of it. And you're like, you know what? I'd rather just deny this pregnancy and have my peace of mind. But then, is it really having peace of mind? Is it really worth it? Because we have scenarios that later on in future, when everybody must have grown and forgotten what they did in their teens, you're now running from one church to the other, you don't have a child, blah, 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 and you now remember, I have a child somewhere. I'm coming for my child.
So you're coming for that child, not because you really love you.
But because at this point you need the child. Do you understand? And for me, it's not making sense. It can easily be avoided. And sometimes parents, in fact, majority of the times parents contribute to this, because I've had a scenario whereby a parent is actually telling their child, better deny this girl and the pregnant, better, I don't even want to see, blah, blah, blah.
That's callous.
It's very bad. It is very bad. Always learn to be supportive to your children, because it could be you self that is talking. Say you manage, enter marriage, born pikin, have legal children, be married. It's not by your own doing.
We cannot always.
Do you understand? Everybody's life won't really have a perfect ending, beautiful ending. There's always tragedy.
Even beautiful beginning. May not start
you can't even end beautifully. If it starts well, if you go end well, all those kinds of things. Yeah. So as a parent, just be open-minded. Learn to be supportive to your children, even when it hurts. Yeah. But just like I said, they should know that no matter what, if I'm in Jalingo and fire is burning there, I have a home in Enugu, I'm running back to my parents' house with my full chest, with all confidence, because I know they won't throw me out. Highest, they might just punish you, scold you, and which it's called for. You should be able to, when your children misbehave, you should be able to scold them, punish, give them punishment that when they are done, in their next life, or when next they have the thought of that, they will just literally shake it off. In fact, the thoughts won't even come at all. So, but all I'm just trying to say is, you could do more. We all could do more as parents, instead of chasing them out totally. Bring them closer. Love them.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Love them. Show them that yes, you did a mistake, but then I'm not judging you. And that you did this, exactly. And that you did this doesn't mean that you don't still have a bright future. Because some parents have this opinion that once a girl gives birth, I should stop schooling. I won't further your education again, or you become a mother if you can be a trader, blah blah. No. There are better ways.
I think I've seen a situation. I recently had someone that came into my contact, right? And what this person, opened up, when she opened up to me, I was like, wow. She told me I'm a single mom, and we have a lot of single mom at a very tender age. And most of these are owing to what we discussed earlier. A lot of, frictions and too much strict, whereby there's no communication, they can't confide in you. you have that scenario. And in this particular scenario now, this young lady was impregnated, and during this process, she told me that it was tough between her and the dad. It was a tough battle, but nevertheless, they didn't push her out. He said, I want to thank God for my father, who became a father role in the life of this child. Because, to train a child and leaving them just to a woman is not ideal. There are things, and there is a reason why God created the man and made him the head of the home. There's always the role that the man is meant to play. So I normally do suggest that if you are in that kind of situation, find a father role, someone that can play that role so much that that child can be able to say, okay, I have someone I can call father. There's a kind of discipline, there's a kind of, self-worth, there's a kind of, mentality that it brings to that child, knowing that I have someone I can call a father, not just being raised by a single mom. And so what happened was that this lady was accepted by the parents. They are taking care of the child. Why she goes for, you wouldn't know. So they are taking the child as their own child. Do you understand? That's one of the ways that I think these people can become, supportive, right? Now, I think we are going towards the end of this particular episode. I wanted to say something about men in terms of denying pregnancies. It's now a common thing where they do that, and then later on they come back.
For the child.
Time will fail me to give plethora of examples. I told you I do a lot of counseling, and many of them I discuss with most of these single moms. They are the same thing. And they say that, is it when this child has come up to know this person as a father, then you now show up, messing up with this child's mindset and what they have come up with. That's a story for another day, actually. So now I want us to talk about this. As a Christian parent, as a Christian child, how has your parents or even pastors in church, how have they been able to carry young people along in terms of relationship? In the sense that, for instance, Chine, who is that boy? Who is that young man you came in? That kind of trying to be overly protective, when you know that your child is over 18 years and has already understood life, understood some of these things. You are trying to, hide things. You are not being outright with these children, with this your word, talking things as it should be. Let's discuss about sex. Let's discuss about this thing. Knowing that your child going out to the world, they are going to meet these things. And then when they even bring people maybe around, you are so overly protective. You're not allowing them to mingle. So when they have any slightest opportunity like this, they go haywire. I have a lot of examples like that. People that are leaders in fellowships, they are co-leaders, their children, once they enter university, I have countless. How can we bring a balance to this? How do you think?
Now, if you recall, I once said earlier on that parents being overprotective is not really nice, first off, because you see that thing you're trying to avoid, before God and man, it would happen right under your nose and you wouldn't know. Like, you wouldn't have clue at all. Now, this is us going back to the drawing board. Sometimes African parents, they like, skipping some processes when it comes to relationship talk, relationship matter. I believe that, okay, first of all, school is already helping the kids that once, I think, around primary 4 or 5, in basic science, you're already doing parts of the body. This is this, this is that, this is that, in here. So now, sex education has actually been brought into school curriculum as low as either primary 6, just 1. I'm not really sure, but it's already there. So, but African parents, I would say, like skipping that conversation.
They like skipping that conversation.
They always skip it like a lot. You don't, in fact, for me, you should be able to, when as young as your child is, 3-4 years, they should be able to tell you, oh, mommy, I have a friend, or I was in school today and a new girl came into the school. We had a new student and there was this empty seat beside me and she became my seatmate. Now, your child is telling you that, and the next thing you are frowning. Why would she be your seatmate? Why would teacher put the girl beside you? Do you understand?
Yeah, that mentality.
It's not making sense. You should be able to teach your child to, communicate,
with
socialize with the other gender at a very tender age. Do you know from what that child just said, you can easily think, oh, that's nice. What's your friend's name? Tell me about her, describe her. If they tell you to write a composition about her, now what will you write?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're already passing a message across to that child that, okay, it's not bad for you to talk to a girl. It's not bad for you to have a female friend. It's not bad for a girl to be your seatmate.
That's it.
Do you understand? That is point one. Now, the child is already free enough to continue on with the conversation. He can go to school now and come back the next day and tell you, oh, mommy, my lunch you packed for me, I shared it with... Do you understand? And you're like, oh, okay, that's nice, but then your lunch was too small. Why did you have to share it? Do you understand? You not be like, you know what, tomorrow I'll pack in extra for both you and your friend. Now you're passing a message across. It's good to be a nice person. You don't just be a nice person to only your gender. It's good to be also nice to the other gender. Now, you're giving that child the mentality of having a good relationship with the other gender without necessarily exactly having to think the other way.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So now, a child now that was brought up with this foundation, it's going to be hard for the child, when the child must already be 18, that when they finally have a love story or fall in love with a girl, do you think they won't tell their parents? Comfortably, you tell mommy, see the girl I've been telling you about to I told her, even before she comes.
You can't even try this in most of the homes now. Once you mention that, this
slippers to be flying on the air.
I know that's where you have been going to.
Slippers to be flying.
So all this while you have been going out, that's what you have been doing.
Exactly.
Those kind of things, they give a kind of
another thing is that now with that foundation, you're able to trust your child. Now, first off, you've already made it easier for you to know the friends of your children without necessarily having to stress it, because willingly they would want to introduce their friends to you. Do you understand? Mommy, I came back with my friend, though she's in the parlor. Let me go and get something for her. You now come out, you can engage the girl or the boy, whoever, in conversation. How are you? Do you understand? How are you? Where are you from? Okay, what do you do? You understand that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Now, there's a relationship between you and the person, your child's friend.
You don't have to hide anything.
They don't. But you see that moment you're trying to be very strict. I don't want to see you with a... I had one encounter while growing up.
Okay.
One day like that, after church service, I was in front of the altar with my mom. So we wanted to, see pastor, greet him.
After service.
All those kind of things.
Greetings.
So my mom was backing the other side, but she was facing me. So as she was talking to me, somebody passed behind, and he was a guy. You know how Gen Zs can be in an alpha, thumbs up. I'm like, I did, thumbs up back. I was like, I'm here, and you're doing thumbs up. Designer communicate.
Oh my God.
Honestly, she took it so personal. So I'm like, in my head, what did I do? I just greeted somebody in front of you. It's not something bad.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But now she already took it personal that why must you greet the opposite sex?
Yeah.
All these social you're in Jerusalem, you should be in Jericho. I don't even want to see you blink eye. You mustn't keep your head forward.
And they don't even recognize what could be happening outside when they are not there.
That is another thing. Their mind don't go to that part of I won't always be with this child everywhere she goes. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's not you see that small 5-10 minutes that your child is not at home. A lot has happened.
You can use it to do a lot.
A lot has happened. Trust me, like a whole lot of scenario has already played out. And you where you are, you be like, nothing is happening. You understand?
So in summary now.
In summary, parents should be able to give their children that upbringing that being a friend to the opposite gender, it's not bad. Yeah. It's how you go about it. The foundation you laid for your kids. That is what really matters. And personally, it's even be easier for you to know the friends of your kids, those they associate, without even asking, because they will be the ones who want to tell you themselves. You understand? Yeah. So they should do better, actually. They should loosen up and stop being all overprotective.
Little breathing space.
Exactly.
Okay, so you are viewers, you have heard it all. It has been a wonderful conversation, and we want to thank you for being here all this while. And we believe that with these little conversations that it can help to shape your ideologies so that you can learn, unlearn, and relearn in a bid to build a solid foundation base in terms of relationship in your family. If you're an aspiring husband or aspiring wife, aspiring family man or woman, this podcast and these discussions are for you, especially if you're a Christian and want to raise godly homes. These are conversations that are mostly overlooked, scarcely talked about in places that they should be talked about. And whenever we try to, run away from some of these topics, we find out that it's doing much harm than it's doing good. So please, I want to encourage parents, loosen up a bit, give your children your words breathing space, make them to become your closest confidant. Let them see you as home, that they can't be saying things outside to outsiders that you do not know about. So that brings us to the end of our relationship series. In this particular episode, it has been an awesome time with Golden here, and we wish that you're going to stay glued with us. Follow us, turn on your notification bells on my channel as you can see it on the screen. Follow us for many more contents as we go on this year, and remain blessed. And I want to say a big thank you, shout out to Golden for coming around and this awesome discussion. Give me a high five. Thank you so very much, and see you next time.